Hi guys, FM Campbell here. Thanks for tuning in again. This is the first update, or technically episode 2 of the Man United series that I'm doing at the moment. If you haven't seen the first episode, basically Man United are my favourite team and they're not doing too well in real life, so I thought I could do a better job, so I'm giving it a go myself. So this is the first update, like I said, so episode 2. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what I've done, how I've started the game, and we've actually hit the end of the transfer window. I'm actually on the 14th of September at the moment in the game. So we'll start off probably what you all want to know most, and that is our transfers in and out. Just to make you aware, I started off with £12 million as a title challenge, and it then bumped up a couple of weeks into the game. I then spoke to the board and they then gave me a further 28 million, which was always handy. But it was during a time when I didn't have a lot of money as well, because I'd spent the money that I had. But you'll see what I mean, especially with our ins and outs. So we'll start off with our ins. A couple of players going out on frees. We got George Dorrington, Oliver Rathbone, Rari Koskeri, Jordan Thompson, Dean Henderson, Cameron Bothwick-Jackson, Joe Riley, Devontae Redmond, Scott McTominay. I think I've said that right. They all went out on frees. We then move on to our loan deals. A lot of the players I wanted to just get off the wage bill. A lot of the under 21s and under 8, well, more the under 18s actually leave at the end of the season, and they're just not good enough in my opinion. So I've let them go out on loan. I didn't want to pay their a mutual termination offer or anything like that, so I got another club to pay all their wages to the end of the season. As soon as they come back, they're straight out the door anyway. But yeah, moving on. So we've got Tom Lawrence, Ben Barber, Declan Daly. They all went out on loan. Anders Lindegaard is a loan to buy for £3 million to Schalke as a key player. So even if they decide not to keep him, as a key player at Schalke, who aren't a bad team anyway, his value is always going to increase. Joel Casco Pereira, Jack Rudge, Nicholas Oyono, Louis Rowley, Joe Rothwell, Guillermo Varela, Ben Amos, Andreas Pereira, Callum Evans, Donald Glove, David Petrucci, Josh Harrop, Ashley Fletcher, Reece James, Tom Thorpe, Jack Barmby, Ben Pearson, Johnny Sutherland, Liam Grimshaw, Alexander Butner went out for £7 million. And the ones before all went out on loan, like I said. Alexander Butler, £7 million. Absolute worldie of a bloody sell. £7 million for him. I was buzzing with that. Kieran O'Hara, Pierluigi Gallini, James Weir, Jesse Lingard, James Wilson all went out on loan. Robin Van Persie, I decided to let him go simply because he's 30 years old, and I mean he's on 240 grand a week at Chelsea. I think he was on 220. I think with United. So yeah, I just don't like paying that much money. I've also seen other saves around YouTube and experienced it firsthand myself, where Robin Van Persie's just been a bit of a flop. He's also a little bit injury prone, so I decided to let him go. I'll explain why I did that in a second. To carry on through the list, we also let Michael Keane go on loan, Sadie Janko go on loan, Ashley Young was in a part exchange deal for Luke Shaw, which I'll explain in a second. Ryan McConnell, Sean Goss, Mario Pugliese, who I actually signed, which I'll again go on to. These all went out on loan. Thales, who I signed. Pedro Obiang is in a sign to loan back deal at the moment. Patrick McNair, Matthew Willock, and then eventually Javier Hernandez also went out on loan. All of these players, there's not one player. Every single one of these players went out for 100% of their wages, and are key players at the clubs that they're playing at. I refuse to let players go unless they're going to be playing first team football consistently. So I'm saving a lot of money, and also a lot of players are getting game time. A lot of people tend to get rid of a lot of players at the beginning of the season. Straight away they mutual terminate players, but it's a stupid thing to do, because if you just get them out on loan, paying with a club that they're being loaned to, paying 100% of their wages, and they've only got a season left, you might as well just send them out on loan and not pay a penny. So not even pay a mutual termination. Just get them out of the club and get someone else paying for them, and then you save yourself quite a bit of money. So move on to the players that I've bought in. Like I said about Mario Pugliese, I signed him on a free with 650k compensation. 17 years old, he can turn into one of the best. His physicals are awesome. If you checked out any of my Wonder Kid series, I speak about this guy. He can play central mid or central defensive mid. So he's very, very good. 17 years old as well, which is awesome. Obviously down the right hand side, Man United lack. I'll be playing either Januzaj and Nani, or Nani on the left, and it'll be Valencia, and I just need a cover for Valencia if I play wingers. Jonas Hoffman from Dortmund, playing 50% of his wages. He's on 16 grand. Yeah, from Dortmund. He's just good cover. His mental attributes are very good for a 21-year-old, sorry, and his physicals aren't too bad either. So I was quite happy with that. Like I said about Ashley Young, 20 million plus Ashley Young. I hate Ashley Young, he drives me nuts. He's on a lot too much money at the club as well. So I did a part exchange, 20 million Ashley Young, and I got this man. He's awesome, English, left back, 18 years old. He's probably going to push Ever out the first team very, very soon. I'm going to obviously get Ever to tutor him probably as well. This guy here, Thales, just spotted him and I thought he was quite good. I signed him for 3.6 million, and his physicals pretty much across the board. He's only 18 years old. I've never actually ever seen him before. I think it's on the 14.3 update. He's been made a little bit better. He's 6'1", so he's a bit of a unit for an 18-year-old. Still going to grow. Still going to get better. Strength is 14 for an 18-year-old as well. Is good. Mental is not too bad at all, and his technical is actually okay. But it will need work though, obviously. But he's on £2.5 a week. I'll send him straight back out on loan, as you know. They're paying 100% of them wages as well, just to get him some first team football. Whether he'll break into the first team, I don't know. If not, he's going to be a money maker. I reckon I'll be able to make quite a bit of money on him. Then another guy, Lucas Romero, 6.25 million. He just turns into, if you train him properly, he turns into possibly one of the best central young midfielders. He can play in a number of roles. I mean, look at his versatility across the pitch. He's just cover at the moment, but obviously Carrick, he's getting old. Fletcher will probably go as well eventually, and Fellaini, I'm just not a fan. So we'll see what happens in the future with him. Alessandro Florenzi, he's just awesome. I love him. Again, he's more cover. So I'll have a choice of 5 centre midfielders with Carrick, Lucas Romero, actually technically 6. Lucas Romero, Alessandro Florenzi, Tom Cleverley, Fellaini, and then also Ryan Giggs, which doesn't really count, but there we go. Pedro Obiang, just because I signed him for reasonably cheap, 7.5 million, when I know I'll be able to get more for him in the future, and it's a loan back deal where they're paying 100% of his wages straight away. So I'm not paying anything for him at the moment, but I did pay 7.5 million obviously up front. Mental attributes are awesome. His physical is very, very good. He's not very quick, but he's centre midfielder, so it doesn't really matter too much. But his technical is all pretty much there. It's all 14s in the places where it needs to be, with 15 at paths in. So Pedro Obiang, I think he could be a cheeky one. Kevin Volland, possibly one of my favourite striker Wonder Kids. Again, if you want to check out the striker series of the Wonder Kid series that I did a Wonder Kid 11 as well, and I was stuck between him and Romelu Lukaku. Obviously Lukaku's shades a little bit, but there's certain stats that I prefer with Volland, and if you play him in the right way, he is an absolute tank. So moving on, Nathaniel Klein. Quite keen to get an English player in, just to build the English numbers up, especially with Ashley Young going. Eventually probably Cleverley will go. Rio Ferdinand will probably retire soon. So this will all add up. He'll be covered for Raphael, but he's just adding up the numbers. He's actually quite a good right back anyway. I mean, his physical's awesome. He's not very strong, but he's only 22. His mental needs a lot of work, but I think that will come. He's obviously, again, like I said, he's only young. But his technical's all there as well. So I was quite happy with that. A steep buy at 15 million, but I know what I can get out of him, so I was quite happy with that buy. Looking at the actual team itself, so we'll look at the cover. So we went with David De Gea as obviously our first choice keeper, with Johnston as backup. I'll probably just wait out until I find a good regen as a second choice to eventually break into the first team as well. Like I said, I got Raphael, choice of Raphael or Nathaniel Klein at right back. Everett and Luke Shaw at left back. Then we have Smalling, Phil Jones, Vidic, Ferdinand and Johnny Evans as choices at centre back. Our central midfielders are Carrick, Lucas Romero, obviously Obiang's out on loan, Fellaini, Florenzi, Giggs can play there as well, and Tom Cleverley as centre midfielders. Then on the left wing, if I play wingers, I've got Nani or Januzaj on the left. And then on the right, obviously, like I said, we've got Valencia or Hoffman. And then down the middle, we either have Kagawa or Juan Mata. And then I'm built the team really around Wayne Rooney. Rooney will be up top with the option of Welbeck and Volland. Looking at the tactics, I'll most likely be playing this formation, but it'll probably look a little bit more like this when I complete it. Where are you? There he is. It'll probably look a little bit more like that. Eventually Luke Shaw will break in on the left. And the good thing as well about this tactic is I can drop Rooney in here as a second striker, and I can play Volland up front. So I do have the cover in this central attacking midfield role. Obviously, I don't want to bring too many players in central attacking midfield because players start to complain. But what the game doesn't really seem to pick up is that I'm not playing wingers. With 3 advanced midfielders behind a striker, with Carrick and Fellaini providing protection. Then if I did want to play the winger role, obviously I'd have Valencia on the right, Januzaj or Nani on the left, but also Welbeck can provide that cover down the left as well, or up front. Obviously Mata's pretty key. He'll be one of our main starters. This 3, to be honest, in the first season will be our central mid. But yeah, quite happy with that. Then when we play bigger teams, especially when we go into Europe, this is when Mata probably won't play, or I'll play him as like an inside or an advanced playmaker on either wing. Just with a holding midfielder where Carrick will probably sit in here and just win us the ball back. I quite like that formation, especially on a counter where I'm clearing the ball to the flanks as often as I can. So I'll play quick wingers ideally, and we can obviously hit them on the counter and try and pick up sneaky goals. So that's our 3 tactics. It's like a 4-2-3-1 with 3 central, a 4-2-3-1 with 2 wide, and then the 4-1-2-2-1 with a holding midfielder. So we then go and we look at the staff. I normally revamp the staff completely. As you can see, the majority of these weren't here at the beginning. Under 21s manager Niels Arne Eggen, he's just awesome. So I was buzzing with that. Paul McGuinness is already there. Jürgen Gelsdorf is my assistant manager. He's got good judging of players in both ability and potential, so especially if I want to get a final sort of observation from someone before I buy a player, I'll go to him as well. Motivating 16 is tactical knowledge of 17, so if he wants to help me out with my team talks or my tactics, not that I ever really use him. Normally I use my assistant manager for opponent instructions, individual opponent instructions, so whether to put them on their weaker foot, hard tackling, soft tackling, marking, tight marking, things like that. Man management's very good as well, and obviously his tactical coaching, which I use him as my tactical coach as well. Head of Youth Development, Fermo Favini. He's very, very cheap, £3 a week, and he's just across the board, he's awesome. Franco Tengredi, one of my goalkeeping coaches, along with Alessandro Nista, both awesome, 20 at goalkeeping. Giancarlo Bisciotti as one of my fitness coaches, with Paul Winsper. Then we have Giggs, obviously, as a player coach, who I'm quite keen to get learning. Then I bought Rene back. Rene Melenstein's come back to the club. Very happy to sign with the club again, so I was very happy with that. Flavio Tanajura is my defensive coach. Quite happy with him. Going through Marco Landucci, although he is originally a goalkeeper coach, he's got great defensive stats, great technical. I think he's actually one of my technical coaches. Paul Scholes is learning as well. Eamon Mulvey's already there. Tommy Martin, John Cook, Tony Whelan, these are all already there. Rob Swire's already there. Steve McNally is already there as well. Jim Lawler's obviously there. And as you can see, my scouts as well. So Robbie Cook's there, John Owen's there, Antonio Lopez is there. Crivelli I brought in, Newton Motter I brought in. Did I bring in Jeff Watson? I'm not too sure, can't remember. Les Corshaw's already there. John Olsen I brought in, Borba Filio, and David Frio is already there as well, I think. So you can see I brought in pretty much a revamp my whole staff every time almost. So that's how I go and line up. Training. Coaches wise, as you can see, we're pretty much stars across the board. You can see if you want to pause this and check this out, who I've got doing what. And then we go into the under 18 squad where I've got some under 18 coaches as well. You can see who's doing what in here. So yeah, all areas are pretty much covered. What was he doing? I think he was on technical. Yeah, so we'll carry on anyway. So then moving on to our results. So far, as you can see, I let my assistant do my friendlies. So that's nothing to do with me, any of these. We lost to Stevenage, which is a bit of a shame. Beat Kivas, Bristol City, Real Salt Lake, and we drew with Napoli, Dallas and Houston. We then went on and we beat Wigan in the Community Shield, where you can see that Evra, Phil Jones and Fellaini got on the score sheet. Fellaini in his debut. Then we had another friendly where we beat, I'm going to try and pronounce this now, Antalyaspor. If I pronounced that correctly, I apologise. Then we started the Premier League, as you can see, where we played Stoke away as well, so it's a tough place to go. Phil Jones getting on the score sheet, making it a 1-0 win. Then we played Cardiff at home, Wayne Rooney getting 2 of the goals. So carrying on that clean sheet run, which we then carried on even further, where we played West Brom. We played them away at the Hawthorns. Rooney getting on the score sheet again to make it 3-3. And Kevin Volland also coming off the bench to score, and obviously Antonio Valencia scoring as well. So far we've had 3 clean sheets. Like I said, we've only really just started the season. 3 clean sheets though. We've scored 6 goals in 3 games, so to average of 2 goals a game. So I'm quite happy with that. We'll then go and we'll have a look at the Champions League. In our group we got Schalke, Galatasaray and Napoli, so quite a tough group. Quite an unlucky draw. You can see the rest of the groups here. I won't go through them, but if you want to check them out to keep an eye on what's going on everywhere, you're more than welcome to pause it. But I think that's pretty much it. Is there anything else I could cover? Our finances. We've got a balance of 33 million, but we're projected to get a lot of money coming in. But we will obviously continue to pay off the bank loan. So finances will probably be limited. Saying that, there does need to be a big revamp of the whole team. Going into the under-21s, you can see most of my players are out on loan or they'll probably be leaving. Under-18 squad, same again. They're pretty much all out on loan. Most of them will be leaving. I just completely revamped the squad over probably the next sort of 2 or 3 seasons, but I'll keep you in check. Just to let you know, I am on FM Base and FM Scout. I'll put the links in the description below, where I'll be putting little details of what's going on and what's happening. Also, my Twitter will be in the description below, where I'll be keeping you guys on updates of little details that I'm doing and what happens throughout the season. Just keep you in check and keep you up to date, and also all content is posted on my Twitter channel as well. Other than that, you're listening to FM Campbell. Thanks very much for watching. We've got Tottenham next in the league, and then we start the Champions League against Schalke, both at home. So let's hopefully see how we get on. Just to add on actually in the end, just notice this now, we also have Andrija Zivkovic joining on the 11th of July in 2014, so not till next year, end of next season next year. 17 years old, and he just looks like an awesome prospect. I'm looking forward to working with him, and I'm probably trying to break him in quite early on. So I'm quite happy with him. But yeah, like I said, thanks very much for watching. FM Campbell, this has been episode number 2, update number 1. The next one I'll be probably doing, it'll be the end of January. The end of the January transfer window, so it will probably be Swansea. I think that's when the transfer window finishes. We'll be around here anyway, Swansea, Fulham, so as you can see there'll be a lot of games that I'm going to cover, just to let you know how I got on, and then hopefully we will still be in competitions to speak about then. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you in the next update. Cheers.